All right, hello everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back. We are here for a new segment called What the Health? WTH. I'm here and joined by Evan. Say what's up, Evan.
What's up, Evan? No, hey y'all.
You had to. It's fine. It's fine. That's what I appreciate about you. All right. So we are here to bring a new segment that I thought would be cool. We thought would be cool to bring to everyone, spice it up a little bit, little zhuzh. It's called What the Health, and what you can expect from this segment is we're gonna go through different health topics, health fads, health trends, and see, is it a dud? Is it good? Is it actually science behind it? Or people just doing it because they see it on TikTok, which is ironic because we're going to do it because I guess we kind of saw it on TikTok too. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to use the scientific approach as well as talk to folks about it, as well as experiment and try it out ourselves. Well, some of them. If they're really weird, we're not going to try them. Like dangerous, because yeah, boundaries and health. Um,
I'm with that.
But I am super excited to first try this one. We are going to be doing this first episode on overnight oats. Now, let me tell you about this. So, when we were thinking about ideas of what to talk about, what to research, I asked social media, I asked some friends, what are some health trends and some diets and some fads that you think are either overrated or scams? And I was expecting like one or two answers, and I got maybe 10 or 15 things that people just thought were scams, they didn't like, they thought was gross. And to me, when I hear that, it shows me that, one, when it comes to wellness, when it comes to health, and especially when it comes to food, there are a lot of areas, there's a lot of gray area. I feel like there's not a lot of regulation in certain places, and people are really trying to find ways to either, one, lose or get to their fitness goals or wellness goals quickly, or two, they're trying to spice it up, seeing if something didn't work before, how can we do something different to get to where we want to. And usually these fads, or these trends or these diets are easily susceptible people are easily susceptible to these because they want to try something new, they want to try it, feel it out, try the new popular trend. And often a lot of people unfortunately either prey on that, or they add this information on that, or they'll just do some weird crazy things and mix weird crazy things together to try and get to the goal. So I thought the first one that we should try would be overnight oats. So Evan, have you heard of overnight oats before we decided to talk about this, or before I proposed this?
I have heard of overnight oats on social media before. I've seen it as a quick. I've seen it as a trend because it's relatively quick and easy to do. It's affordable to do, and I guess as far as eating is concerned, it's a fulfilling meal as well, especially for a lot of people who typically don't eat breakfast because they may have to go to work in the morning. They don't have a lot of time, so it's very efficient for the busy life of many Americans, and probably just even people outside of America.
Very true, very true. I don't know the origins of it, but do you know what, basically, for those that don't know what overnights are, do you want to explain what it is?
Sure. So overnight oats, pretty much just oatmeal that's quote unquote cooked overnight, but well, let me tell you this. They are oats that are soaked in some form of a liquid overnight. So by the time you wake up in the morning and grab them, typically in some type of mason jar, but people are creative. They put them in mugs or bowls. By the time breakfast comes around, they'll already be in an edible form, because the liquid is going to the oats will absorb the liquid and they'll be ready for you to enjoy.
So yeah, similar. I've heard about it from the socials, just trying to find a new way to eat oatmeal. For me, I've always heard, when you think about breakfast and things that are typical for breakfast. I shouldn't say typical, because in every culture, I feel like America's very particular about breakfast. Every other culture pretty much just eats food, like rice and chicken might be breakfast too in a lot of other places, but for us it's very particular. It needs to be like a cereal or eggs and bacon or bagel, whatever, etc., or oatmeal. So for America, for the most part, this is where you hear about oatmeal being, I guess, one of the better breakfasts. I mean, and like, what are your thoughts? Like before we even get to overnight oats, I guess we should talk about oatmeal in general, and which sounds, even from talking about it, oatmeal. If you think about the stereotypical of hearing about it, it's always bland, right? It's always like, oh, oatmeal, or you'll hear people saying like this, that slop. I'm getting a visual. First of all, and this is just a caveat, I love oatmeal. That's my. I'm Jamaican backgrounds. We love porridge. We love oatmeal. We like to start off with hot food. But you know, I feel like in America, this is thought that oatmeal is gross. It's bland. It's usually served with a slop. I don't know how to explain it, but it's usually has a negative connotation towards it. What about what have your experience with oatmeal been?
So while you love oatmeal, I dislike oatmeal. I had that image growing up. Oatmeal was
like gray,
like gray. It was always in the context of like a nursing home serving it to elderly people because you know they weren't able to chew, so it was just this very like you said, slosh,
like
over watery. Yeah, hospital food. Yes, that's what you equated to. It was just something. It wasn't ever appetizing. Which is why I rarely tried oatmeal in general and was hesitant to try overnight oats because I said, you know what, it's the texture that mentally I couldn't get over. So yeah, oatmeal has always been something that is, you know, shunned upon. Like there are a few people I personally haven't met a lot of people who are like, oh, I just love oatmeal. Yeah, I've heard people say I love grits, I love cream of wheat, but oatmeal is like I don't need it.
People be sleeping on it. We gotta stop it. And this is where we're trying to create like a oatmeal anonymous. I'm gonna find my tribe. I'm gonna find my tribe. It's funny because I started eating oatmeal. I started eating oatmeal probably when I started my wellness journey, and you know I was trying to figure out what to eat for breakfast, and back then, when I first started, I didn't like eggs, which has major protein, right? And it's such a good thing to eat. I tried to stay away from cereals, which, you know, if you talk about the benefits of oatmeal versus other cereals, at least when it comes to like processed cereals, such as like even Raisin Bran, I started off with Raisin Bran because that was my first non-Lucky Charm cereal to be healthy. But then when I realized that was pretty much a sham, like it's still met sugar, I was like, let me try oatmeal. And honestly, that was like one of the only things I could eat for breakfast that was healthy. And I'm gonna use that in quotes for those that are not watching. Is quotes because you know it's still high in carbs, but at least it's like the good carbs. It's easy. It's digestible. I think it's easily soluble. I don't know. I don't want to mess it up. Soluble. Yeah. There we go. So it your body gets it quicker, and you know it works better with the body. So I was like, all right, let me try this out. And like I said, we liked porridge. It worked out. In the beginning, I was using a lot of the microwavable strawberry and cream and apple and cinnamon, which, you know, again, cute on the surface, but sugar. So I had to like get that away from that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm here. It's
I'm glad you brought up I'm glad you mentioned a lot about the flavoring though, because I learned what I've learned is that, you know, especially, you know, those that are, you know, strawberries and cream, all of those, they're less processed compared to other types of oats, like steel oats, which are more natural in a sense. They have, you know, like a oat it has 3 parts. And when you have them less processed, they're tougher to cook, but they're more nutritious compared to, you know, these rolled oats, the instant oats even, that are processed to some extent where they're rolled out and they're steamed so that once they arrive in your kitchen, you can cook them quicker. But they lose a lot of that texture of the oat, which makes them less nutritious. All that to say, you know, you also mentioned, you know, it as far as it being like a healthier option. I do believe that oatmeal and overnight oats in this context is a far better option than, you know, cheesy eggs and bacon with
Sounds good.
biscuits. It does it.
I was like, keep talking.
Does it? Because I appreciate breakfast food. Oh, it's nothing like a good breakfast. I have never been a big breakfast guy, but I love a delicious breakfast. But now, as I, am trying to take care of my body, I'm like, let me be more conscious about. I don't need to always eat, what is it, biscuits and gravy. I need to eat them on a Saturday morning. I'm from the South, so my father, that's his thing. Like, just a down home, I just built breakfast. But it makes me more conscious. All this to say, oats are definitely a far better option for a breakfast compared to what we typically may see advertised for breakfast.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to overnight oats, and I'm trying to, one thing that I think is interesting, and I think the reason why a lot of people do use it or do make it is pretty much a lot more of like the meal prep folks or the meal prep community.
Yes.
Because, even I know, in the morning when you think about breakfast, usually anytime, and this is why, I'm not the biggest meal prepper. I'm getting back into it. I used to be in the beginning of my wellness journey. I used to do all Sunday was all about meal prepping for the whole week. And then I kind of got out of that, but now I'm trying to get back into it. And then when it comes to anytime when you have to like think about what you have to eat, anytime you have to have like thought process and decisions and things of that nature, you're automatically at risk to try to eat something that's not good, right? Like if let's say, even right now, and I'll take a real example, right now I'm supposed to go grocery shopping tomorrow, which means there's no food in my house today, which means there's this extra layer of decision that I did not account for, which means DoorDash has been looking me in my face saying, order some roti and oxtail. So this is why it's like, when it comes to meal prep, you always try to have as much planned out so that you don't have to worry about all these extra temptations or decisions that you might have to take that might wane you off of doing the right thing. Now, granted, I could go to DoorDash and order a salad, but will I do that? Not likely. So this is why, all that to say, the reason why overnight oats is a good option is because, if you're doing your prep for the week or whatever, every 3 days, you can kind of do your oatmeal, your breakfast piece before breakfast actually happens. So that way in the morning, even if you have to go to the gym really quickly or you have to go to work really quickly, you can pick it up and go. This is also good for on the go, right? Like I don't need to have this hot bowl of oatmeal while I'm driving, which is dangerous, and I hope no one does that. But having a hot bowl of oatmeal while you're driving, maybe in a thermos.
I feel like somebody.
That's not.
There are a lot of things you shouldn't do driving. There are
Yes.
a lot of things you shouldn't do driving.
Yes.
And eating oatmeal probably is one.
Yes, especially if it's hot. But overnight.
Yeah. Why are you eating and driving? Wait. Don't eat and drive.
You're right. All right.
But
all right.
I guess
overnight. Well, listen. Don't even listen.
You're living on the edge.
First of all, don't listen to me because I haven't had a car in 8 years, so I don't know. I don't know nothing about driving and anything. So I think that might be a reason to consider overnight oats. I don't know. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else that people?
No, I agree. Like I believe that, especially for a busy person, it is great. It's like you said, a quick and easy meal to have. When you meal prep, you can make it in bulk. It's inexpensive. Oats are not, generally speaking, it's an affordable meal that can stretch a long way, and that's why I think it's in so many. Well, the oats is in so many cultures because it's something that stretches. But I would say another benefit of overnight oats is that it is a versatile. There's a lot of versatility you can add to what I would consider like a blank canvas in the kitchen. There's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of different things you can add to the overnight oats, so it's not the same when we consider meal prep. It's not the same meal every day. Sometimes we eat chicken and broccoli the whole week through, and you get tired. Personally, I have gotten tired of meal prep because I'm like, by Wednesday, I'm tired of eating this.
Yes.
But with overnight oats, at least I know maybe Monday, Tuesday, I'm eating like a strawberries and cream that I may make, but then the other days it may be a chia seed and blueberries or a coconut almond. You can really change and do different flavors that keep your diet lively.
I like that. And I think before we dive into it and get to the experimentation part of this, actually trying it out, honestly, I was very surprised when I asked about this that there were so many strong opinions about it. Very like, no,
What do you
don't.
mean?
It's just I got a lot of like the texture is weird, which I'm a very texture kind of guy too. So very like it's slimy. Someone was like, I didn't even know you can not cook it, which I guess technically you're not cooking it.
Right.
Someone and like if you don't like oatmeals in general, this is not. This is probably another hurdle for you to even get to it. But a lot of people like their foods hot, like I said. So a lot of Caribbean people, they start their day off with hot things. They like hot tea, hot. So saying you want to have cold oats is just not something that they can comprehend. So there's a lot of strong opinions about it, and I was pleasantly surprised.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Something that, again, we know the context of this this dish is that it is quick and easy, and it's very popular for people who do meal prep. But if you're being health conscious, it does provide some level of nutrition compared to other breakfasts. My question is, would you eat overnight oats because it's more nutritious and you just know it's better for you? For instance, even if you like have a workout day, you have a level of carbs in here. You have a good level of carbs in here. Would you just suffer through eating it compared to actually like wanting to eat it, or enjoying eating it rather?
So again, like I like oatmeal, so I don't think I'm the right person to ask.
You're right.
And I also, and this is kind of not a bad thing, but I don't track my macros, so I can see someone that's like very like I need to have this much carbs, protein, fat per day, especially like people that do like bodybuilding and like competing. They might say you're like, I don't want oatmeal period because that's a lot of carbs versus protein, versus like someone that's, especially when I was running long distance, when I was marathon training, oatmeal was like oatmeal was a good thing because I need all the carbs I can get. So
exactly.
So for me, I think one, I would like it for the tastes, and we'll talk about that. Two, when I was running, I love the carbs. It's a good way for me to start my day. And three, I don't think there's a three. I just said it right now, but yeah, I think it works for me. What about you? Like, I also, and so another caveat. So I'm like 10, almost 11 years in my wellness journey. I am no longer about eating stuff just because, like, I'm too old to be eating just like if I don't like it, I'm not eating it. There's so many substitutes. There's so many ways to get food intake that you don't need to eat. I am very big on like, and I say this a lot when I'm training folks, right? They're like, oh, I don't like the gym, but I do. They said this is one of my things. I don't like running, but I do it because it's what I have to do. And it makes me cringe because one, I like it. I actually like running, and two, I don't think that's not a good mentality for when you want to do your wellness journey, because it's so much easier to stop doing it, right? Because you say I don't like it anymore. It's kind of important for you to find what you like so that you can continue it and make it a habit. So if I don't like oatmeal, I'm not going to eat oatmeal, but I'm gonna find something that works for me so that I can do it every time. So that's my approach for food. I'm very big on like, I'll eat what I like. I'll do moderation if I need to, but I'll try to be very consistent and being very good. If I don't like grapefruit, I'm not eating it, which I do love grapefruit as well, which I learned to like. Cooked spinach, maybe let's put that. Cooked spinach, I don't like. I'm not eating. That's it. That hard stop. So things like that, like I know there's boundaries, and I've kind of learned that you don't need to subject yourself to stuff like that. You just got to find a nice balance. I know that was a long rant.
I feel the opposite.
Really?
Though. Yeah, I feel like if there is proven benefit to said food, let's say for instance, let's just say overnight oats. But if I know if it's going to provide me with some type of like benefit to my body, for instance, energy for a long run, or something that will suppress my my hunger throughout the day compared to like going for a Snickers bar in the vending machine or stopping somewhere. I would eat overnight oats and like make it somewhat digestible.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is for me. Like, the benefit outweighs like my extreme, craving for it. Because, if it was about what I want to eat, a lot of the things that, like, okay, I love food, but I would want to eat so many more things that probably won't be the best for me, and it will be so unconscious of what I'm consuming compared to let me be mindful that I'm eating better things along the way. This broccoli is going to provide a long term healthier benefits. That's how I think about my diet, because it's easy, especially coming from in my experience from the South, where Southern food is just so prevalent, clearly, but it's also it's one of those things where you have to eat it in moderation. But you don't always eat for your wants. You should eat for your needs, and that's what it is. That's why I think a lot of foods, and like overnight oats being one. I don't like the texture, but if I need a quick meal, or if I need something that has fewer calories or fewer simple sugars, I'm gonna go for overnight oats.
That's a good point. So I agree, but I think my first step would be find an alternative that I actually like. And then I'll be like, all right, let me see if I can like spice it up so I can actually like it. I just, because I think that's why people are just like so anti-oatmeal, because they think of that nasty, bland slop. And that's like, I don't eat it like that. Like mine's actually tastes popping. And we can and I think that's a good segue for talking about, first, we have our overnight oats prepared, ready to go. So I would like to first say, like, how did you prepare it? How did you make it so it's not that nasty slop? Maybe that's our first take, and I'll tell you how I made mine.
So it is still slop-ish. It isn't like they still look like oats. They still look like that watery, thick, viscous appearance is still there, but I've added things that I enjoy. So I use rolled oats. I made 1-to-1, so I use a cup of rolled oats, a cup of milk. I added some vanilla extract and some cinnamon. Yep. And I add a smooth layer of maple syrup, just to give it some body. Y'all, I love cooking. So
first of all, to give a little insight, he's been ready for this recipe. He was excited about this recipe. So I should have known he was about to come with it with a
but
full
wait, there's more.
Oh, let me shut up. Go ahead.
I topped it off with sliced banana and caramelized pecans.
Oh, come on.
So, like, again, it speaks to the versatility of overnight oats. Like, I'm excited to eat these because it has so much to it. That's why I'm like, okay, I can get into this now. It's not just milk and oatmeal.
I'll agree. Oatmeal is like a canvas. It really is like a blank canvas. And you can like add to it to make it your own art. Yeah. Okay, so for me, what I did, so I was supposed to pick up, this is preparation, I was supposed to pick up rolled oats, but I didn't have time, so I stuck with instant oats. I guess that's a type of, but that's the instant. I did half a cup, then I did a full cup of almond milk, unsweetened almond milk, because that's my go-to. I try to be very dairy-free where possible. So I let that bake, or I let that not bake, literally not. I let that soak, and then usually I put bananas in it. I crush it up, but I didn't have any bananas. So what I did was I used a little bit of peanut butter, because I go through a lot of peanut butter, y'all. I love peanut butter. I put a little bit of that, a little bit of cinnamon, and then a little bit of honey, and then a little bit of monk fruit, because I don't use sugar. I usually use a substitute. And then lastly, I put 1/4 of a scoop of my favorite protein powder, just to add a little bit of extra benefits and a little extra taste, because it's a little bit on the sweeter side.
Do you have a straw?
No, this is a spoon.
Oh, okay. The spoon looks like a straw from Zoom.
That's strange.
I've been in California. I've been in California for a while, so I'm used to seeing metal straws. People
Oh,
just pulling out their purses and stuff.
valid.
So I'm in
Purses.
a different culture, y'all.
People
Per,
bring
you know,
BYOS, BYMS,
BYOU, bring your own utensils. It's no, seriously,
Wow.
it's to conserve the
Yeah,
use, the creation and the use
I
of
like it. I'm
plastic
here for it.
utensils. Yeah, so they recommend
Less
bringing your own
waste,
utensils and straws. Yeah,
less water because they're not washing it.
exactly.
All right, I'm here for it. Okay.
Welcome to California.
So we have that. So it's slimy. It's cold. Well, a little bit room temperature now. I do hear that you could actually warm it up if you want after.
Yes.
That's an option if you don't like the cold. I have never done that,
Mm-hmm.
but that's an option. Normally, so when you're cooking it, the oats expand, and it's like a little thicker. This is just like I don't explain it. It's not, the consistency is different than when it's cooked. Not in a bad way. It's just different.
It's just different.
I have just a little bit backstory. I have done overnight oats in the past. I stopped for a while because I just did not see any benefit. I was like, I like warm oats, but wanted to try it out for this episode. Have you?
Same here. I've tried overnight oats, but I use the wrong type of oat. So right now I'm using rolled oats, but the first time I did overnight oats, I used steel oats.
Oh,
steel oats.
They took
exactly.
That was like 3 days.
Little did I know. So for the listeners, steel oats are a lesser processed oat. It's more of the oat in a raw form, but it's cut into like thirds pretty much. Still, again, it has all parts of the oat growth. Again, which leads to, it yields higher nutritional value. But because they're lesser processed, they're more, it takes longer for them to cook. So as we prepare for this, I saw that there are overnight steel oat recipes, but they tell you the oats need to soak for at least 2 days, because 1 day or 8 hours, you are chomping on like oats, and it's another reason why I just don't do oats.
See, but you learn now. Now you have a new method. Now you know the right ones to use. All right, I'm ready to dig in.
Let's go.
Well, firstly, I have a lot of peanut butter on my spoon because I didn't speed it. I mix it properly, so it's delicious automatically. And my dog smells the oatmeal and the peanut butter. So she's over here.
I know that's right.
Dead in my face. But texture is, like we said, a little slimy. But I do like it. I think, did you use water as your base or milk? You said milk.
Milk. Yes.
I would see if you did it with water, it would be gross, because the texture of the milk, or at least for me, the almond, gives it a good base. I don't think water would do that, and I think that might start the base off weird, because right now it feels like a dessert-esque.
It is very dessert-esque. Just dessert-esque. Like I could enjoy this like as a little, like a late night vibe. Like I don't want to grab cake or something. I would gravitate to this in 2 hours. Yeah, I'm with it. I agree. Water would deplete the flavor.
Yeah, it would not. Because it wouldn't be creamy. It would be.
Yeah, the milk definitely adds, again, a level of some body to the oat.
Body. Yeah, that
I can appreciate. And the flavors that we both have cinnamon. The pecan adds a crunch to it.
You want full Lagasse on it?
I mean, if you go hard.
Do it. You right?
I can say I like oats now.
I like it. All right, so I guess the last piece is we're gonna do something called the gem rating. So between 1 and 4, because Obsidian is a gem for those that don't. Let me go back. Using the noggin. So gem rating between 1 and 4 gems. Well, 1 is a nah, I'm good, and a 4 is a yes with 4 S's and 4 A's. What is, what is your rating for this?
I'm going to give Overnight Oats a 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.
Gems.
Like 4 for me, a 4 would be like I'm eating this every time I can get to it. But this is a cute
I'm giving it a 3 because I enjoy it. It's definitely giving me another option to add to my diet, and I am where I'm conscious. It's a conscious decision I'm making, a conscious meal decision I'm making. Again, I can eat it I definitely see myself eating this, even warmed as a dessert, or to satisfy a sweet tooth. And I'll feel less guilty about enjoying this compared to other things. The missing part why it doesn't receive the other gem is just simply because, again, I don't need this. I don't and this is just, again, my personal opinion. It's not something I would, just die to have. And again, as I'm just evolving in my journey, there are benefits to these oats, but I prefer other things over overnight oats. That's all. Nothing against overnight oats.
I agree.
It's not my everyday.
I think there's a lot of other things on top of the list before I get to it, but it's a nice staple if I need to do meal prep or I need to do something.
Great. What about you? What are you rating?
I'd say 3 as well. I think it's a nice, right there, good staple, good to have. But it's not something I'd be like, I need to go make this today. I need to go do this. Even in my like meal prep saga, I don't know if I would even add that. I would still do I usually gravitate towards like smoothies, or now I'm starting to do like eggs, so I usually gravitate towards that. But it's here, and especially if I'm starting to run more, I would consider it.
Yes, definitely. Gives you those carbs for running. Really, any type of higher intensity workout.
All right, yeah. So that's all that I have. Nice threes across the board. Anything else that you would like to tell the people before we head out?
I'll just tell you, try them out. I recommend it. I want to hear what people think of it, and I want, like, especially if you love, playing around in your kitchen like it's a laboratory. Try it out. Try different things. I would love to hear, the combinations that you create. That's one of the biggest reasons it's a 3 as well. It's a blank canvas for you to, make it to your liking. So, especially if you don't like oats, try it out because it can actually be satisfying.
And I thank you. That was a perfect way to end it. I think we're gonna put in show notes our recipes that we mentioned, and we would love to hear about what y'all do, how y'all create it, and how y'all zhuzh it up for your own style and taste, so we can share those recipes as well. All right, y'all, that's been real, and thank you for coming to What the Health, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.